Hello, and welcome to Soroptimist International Voices, where we give a global voice to women and girls. SI Voices is a space where women's stories and issues are heard as we celebrate 100 years of our remarkable organization. We will reveal and rediscover the history of our global movement while educating and informing on many of the key challenges affecting women and girls today.
Hello listeners, and welcome to another episode of SI Voices. My name is Allie, and I have the pleasure of working at the SI headquarters based here in the UK. On this podcast today, I'm joined by SI President Sharon Fisher, who is over in Canada, some thousands of miles away. So hello Sharon, and welcome to the podcast.
Hi Allie, it's good to be here.
It's so great to be able to connect with you and have conversations like this over the internet. And I'm so pleased to be talking to you today in the run-up to this year's International Women's Day, which we're celebrating on the 8th of March. We're also going to be announcing some exciting SI news later in the podcast, so keep listening. Sharon, I interviewed you on our very first SI Voices episode, and you gave us a real insight to what you do and your involvement with SI leading up to your presidency now. But for those people listening who might not know who you are, could you tell us a bit about yourself and what your role as SI President entails?
Sure, I'd love to. Well, the place I call home is the west coast of Canada, and that's where my Soroptimist life began. So we often speak in Soroptimist about our work as local to global, and that pretty much describes my leadership journey. From my local club projects at home to local grassroots projects in over 120 countries, to work at the UN influencing policy. I've just been blessed with so many experiences. Working with our volunteers who can see the possibilities of making a difference is one of the highlights. And meeting our members around the world, hearing the stories of empowering women by giving them a chance and watching girls become leaders. These are things I can never get tired of. And I can only appreciate those experiences I have been blessed to be part of and do my part as president to fulfill our mission and vision of human rights and gender equality for women and girls.
Thanks for that, Sharon. The way that you lead with your passion is something that really Soroptimists and everyone else really looks up to. So thanks for giving us a bit of an insight. And as you know, SI is going to be celebrating its 100th birthday later this year in October, which is hugely exciting. We've already started the celebrations by launching new platforms and new ways to reach members. For example, this podcast and the webinar series. We've also been uncovering lots of history. We've been looking at past projects and really celebrating what we've achieved as an organisation in 100 years. What does it mean for you as the president that you'll be at the helm during this momentous year? And what does it mean for you personally?
Oh, well, such a milestone, such a milestone. Imagine bringing our members together from all around the globe and raising our glasses to toast 100 years of service, once in a lifetime. It feels like a huge responsibility to deliver an experience that will be everything our Soroptimist sisters expect and deserve. I stand on the shoulders of many past presidents and outstanding leaders, and the honor has been mine to serve with many of them. But others have become known in the stories that are part of our history that is being celebrated all throughout this year. Every president leaves her mark on Soroptimist International, and I can only hope that I join those ranks and do that also.
We've talked in a previous podcast all about SI's long history. We talked about the very first club chartering all the way back in 1921 and the journey the organisation has undertaken since then. There's so much to celebrate in 2021. Obviously, when the pandemic hit and the realities of lockdown set in, SI adapted and overcame, and we're excited to announce that we'll be gathering for a one-of-a-kind virtual birthday party, a 2-day event in fact, on the 2nd and 3rd of October this year. Can you tell us what this big event has in store for us? Of course, you'll still be in the planning stages at the moment, but can you give us a flavour of what to expect?
Yes, absolutely. Well, we are going to remember our 100th year for more than COVID-19. This I can promise. And from gathering in San Francisco at the site of the 1921 event, the word of this year is pivoting. and we are pivoting to a digital event, and we plan to capture the spirit of our global membership. So as Soroptimists come together for this one-of-a-kind virtual birthday party on October 2nd and 3rd this year, we're going to honor 100 years as a global voice for women. Together, we'll journey through our bright past and towards a brilliant future. So be prepared to be inspired by an exciting program of events, including exclusive videos, talks from myself, breakout discussions with other Soroptimists, and an important keynote speech from a special guest. And if we've learned anything this year, it's about how many more people we can connect with digitally. Some days I visit Africa, Asia, and Europe all in one day, and you can't do that in person. While the travel experience is not the same, the spirit of Soroptimist and friendship will thrive. We plan to bring a celebration of many cultures, visit some amazing projects, celebrate our history, and be inspired by speakers, as well as visiting all 5 of our federations. Do you think we might also celebrate the pandemic winding down? Oh, I hope so. We plan to meet in small interactive groups also to meet old friends and make new ones. And we've promised to deliver the event in several languages, so we fulfill the goal of leaving no one behind. I promised a road trip when I launched the biennium, and this virtual road trip will have lots of stops to provide the celebration that we've all dreamed about. I hope to see thousands more online than we would have in person. The more the merrier.
That sounds ever so exciting, and you're so right about being able to connect with more people than a one room could fit in. It will be a really special event where we can all virtually gather and connect with other Soroptimists and just really make a huge song and dance about our organisation that has been going on for 100 years. This past year has meant we've all had to get really creative and find ways to feel connected and still celebrate those big milestones. SI's 100th birthday party won't be any different, I'm sure. So now down to the details. Can you tell us how Soroptimists can register and attend the big event? What's the process like?
The event itself, it'll be in several languages so that everybody can participate. And I really hope everyone will take advantage of early bird registration, which will be open for the next few months. Something many have asked for is to sponsor a ticket for another Soroptimist sister that might not otherwise be able to join us, so that will be available. And we also have some extra packages that will include your ticket and an opportunity to support the event with some perks from Soroptimist International that give you something in return. Maybe a visit from me, maybe a visit from one of our UN reps or one of the other leaders. All very exciting. We're in the planning stages, so you never know what we'll come up with. But just remember to keep checking online on our website and our social media. Please register early. It'll make our planning so much easier. And we're very excited to welcome you online. And I think it's going to be amazing.
I think so too, Sharon. So keep an eye on our website and it will all be on social media. All the announcements about the event will be on there. We're talking today on this podcast during the run-up to International Women's Day, which is celebrated on the 8th of March every year. The United Nations began officially honouring the day since 1977, but the earliest ever recorded observance dates back to 1909, in fact. In some countries, International Women's Day is a celebration of womanhood. In other places, it's a day of protest. In a few countries, the day is actually a public holiday. There are several themes for International Women's Day this year. The theme announced by UN Women is entitled Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. Getting equal participation and leadership for women has been a key issue for SI as well, something that we really fight for and think is important. Sharon, can you tell us a bit more about this and why you think this is so important? And in fact, why we celebrate International Women's Day?
Absolutely. Well, the first reason, of course, is equal rights are a matter of human rights. And we can't relax as women until our right to gender equality is fully achieved. So every year, March 8th, is a call to action and a celebration globally of all women's achievements. But this year, women have been on the front lines of this pandemic, and have really shown their leadership, their experiences, their effectiveness in fighting the pandemic. Women leaders have been a beacon of hope for so many countries. But the pandemic has also highlighted the burdens that women carry, which means that our work is far from over. So we continue to recognize March 8th for the foreseeable future, for sure.
Absolutely. And you're right that it's important this year more than ever to recognise that and to, like you say, celebrate the achievements that women this year and every year have achieved. SI is also hosting a parallel event at the NGO Forum for CSW, or the Commission of the Status of Women. It's all about leadership, and the title is The Road to Equality, Preparing Women and Girls to Lead. Now, Sharon, you have been and you are a woman in leadership. So can you tell us a bit about your experience with this?
Yeah, leadership is tricky. It's an honor and a responsibility at the same time. And what I remember when I was a young leader, I guess, or I was starting my career, is I used to give up Saturday nights frequently with friends to study for an exam. And my friends would tell me, oh gosh, it's not worth it. I was missing all the fun. But when that education helped me achieve my goals and I started having really interesting experiences, those same friends would say, oh, you're so lucky. And there's no luck. There's just choices and opportunities. You seek out opportunities because the more experiences you have to draw on, both professionally and lived experiences, the more leadership skills you have to draw on. And Soroptimist projects frequently offer opportunities for our girls and women. And I will say at this stage in my life, one of the greatest pleasures I have is creating new leaders. The Road to Equality helps women and girls find their place as leaders. It's a huge CSW online this year, so it'll be fantastic. We'll have a big audience for our parallel event that aligns very nicely with the theme of CSW this year, with all our federations presenting their leadership projects that they've had. And we'll have some young leaders speaking. So it's very exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be fantastic.
Well, Sharon, we're coming to the end of the podcast today. Thank you so much. It's always so great speaking to you. It sounds like you have a lot on your plate with planning the big 100th birthday event. I know it'll be so much fun and I'm really looking forward to it. So listeners, make sure you mark the dates in your diary. It's the 2nd and the 3rd of October 2021, a 2-day event that you don't want to miss, and look out for the registration going live online soon. Sharon, is there anything you'd like to leave with our listeners today?
Yes, I would. You only turn 100 once. This is the chance, and you want to be sure you can say, I was there. I toasted our 100th birthday, and I was part of our bright past and our brilliant future. I look forward to seeing everybody online and eventually in person again.
Thank you, Sharon. And if you'd also like to attend this year's virtual CSW event, you can register as an advocate for free at the moment. Head to the SI website and you'll be able to find all the links and instructions on how to do so. Thank you again to you listeners. Remember to keep an eye out on our social media and websites. Join us next time on SI Voices.
You've been listening to SI Voices, a podcast hosted by Soroptimist International. Follow us on social media for our latest news and updates at Soroptimist Global on Facebook and Instagram, and at SoroptiTweet on Twitter. You can also check out our website, soroptimistinternational.org. Please join us next time on SI Voices.